So welcome to the Research Design Challenge of 2018. I'm Barbara Lyle, and I work with the International Life Sciences Institute of North America with the Bioactives Committee that is the sponsor of this Research Design Challenge. What you're going to see today are the two individual teams, one from Rutgers and one from the University of Alabama, who were selected as the finalists to take a methods and protocol abstract that they submitted and convert it into an idea pitch using an innovation tool. Now, innovation has many different facets, but what we were really emphasizing in this project were two aspects, which is the second objective on this slide. Two aspects of innovation. And the first was to utilize a cross-functional team to come up with a better idea than any one individual would have. And second, something that's something that many researchers are probably already familiar with, but something that isn't so familiar to researchers is to make an idea pitch. So we were pretty clear about what components needed to go into the pitch, but that's all. We were not clear about anything else. So we really left it to these inventive two teams to take this general outline that I'll share with you and convert it into a pitch. The second objective, which is stated as the first on the slide, was to get us as a nutrition research community to start thinking proactively about how to integrate safety into studies that are primarily designed to measure the efficacy of a non-essential bioactive component of food. And the reason this is so important is that while many of these bioactive components have a long history of use when consumed in food, they haven't always had a long history of use when they're perhaps extracted or highly concentrated. And the idea here is not to substitute the actual toxicology type testing that should go into anything that's considered novel, but instead to change the paradigm of efficacy testing to say, why not also proactively look at safety at levels being tested for efficacy? So the intent here is to start a broader dialogue about incorporating safety into efficacy and to further advance our use of innovation tools in the practice of nutrition research. This is all we gave these two teams, basically. We said, look, take your research idea and convert it into a pitch that contains these 5 elements. What's the problem you're trying to solve? Make sure you understand why it's a problem so that you come up with an idea of what to do about that problem. You overcome the obstacles. You describe to us clearly how you would do it, and then you make a closing. So think of this as Shark Tank at nutrition research. The part we excluded and said is you don't have to tell us the financials. So you're not going to have to see a business plan here for incorporating safety into efficacy, but you should come away from each presentation with a clear and compelling idea. We also told them that they were going to be judged and that 65% of the weight of the judge's grading of their presentation would be on the solution, the elements that are shown here, and 35% of the weight would be on their delivery. So that's kind of different for nutrition research too, right? We usually focus on the solution, but not so much on how someone presents. And in innovation, very often people have made a decision about your idea within the first 30 seconds based on how clear your idea is and how confidently you project it. The judges that we have today to not only provide a score for each of our two teams, but also to provide some helpful suggestions are Dr. Paul Coates. He can wave his hand here. He's the director of the Office of Dietary Supplements. We have James Coughlin of Coughlin and Associates. He has a 40-year history of looking at toxicology in the area of food. And Christina Koo from Ocean Spray Cranberries. She's the director of nutrition research and science there, and also is the chair of the International Life Sciences Institute North America Bioactives Group that sponsored this. Additionally, each of the presentation teams were offered a mentor to do a dry run-through and to get feedback in advance, and they were Jiang Hu from Herbalife and Tia Rains, who's now at Ajinomoto. Both are in industrial situations in which they regularly use these types of presentations themselves. With that, I'd like just to say that these are the top two teams, so they are both winners, and it has been an extraordinary opportunity for me to be able to work with them. I want to thank you for taking on this challenge. I hope it's rewarding and learning, and that you encourage others to do it and perhaps become mentors in the future. Thank you.